It started with a message. A late-night text from an unknown number. Harper, half asleep, squinted at her phone screen. The words made her stomach twist. Come to Ashwood Creek. You've been chosen. She sat up, heart pounding. Ashwood Creek. She hadn't heard that name in years, not since the town had been abandoned overnight. Stories circulated like wildfire back in the day, families who vanished without a trace, strange figures spotted in the woods, and the sound of children crying coming from empty houses. No one knew what really happened, and no one dared to go back. Harper frowned. This had to be a prank. But then, another message appeared. Bring 3 friends. If you want answers, come before midnight. She almost ignored it, until her phone buzzed again. Attached was a picture of her house. The photo was recent, taken just minutes ago. Harper's blood ran cold. Who the hell? She scrambled out of bed and pulled on a hoodie. Her mind raced. Whoever sent the message knew where she lived. And somehow, deep down, she knew that if she ignored it, things would only get worse. A few hours later, Harper had gathered her closest friends, Jesse, her sarcastic but loyal best friend, Owen, the cautious but clever guy who always played it safe, and Kayla, the wild card who thrived on chaos. They stood outside Harper's house, shivering in the autumn air. You dragged us out of bed for this? Jesse grumbled, pulling his jacket tighter around him. A creepy message from some weirdo. I swear, if this is one of your murder podcasts coming to life, I didn't know who else to call, Harper said, brushing her dark hair from her face. This isn't a prank. Someone sent me a picture of my house, like, just now. And then they mentioned Ashwood Creek. Owen stiffened at the name. Wait. Ashwood Creek. The abandoned town. Kayla grinned, her breath fogging in the cold air. Oh, spooky. We're going, right? Jesse rolled his eyes. Of course you're excited. You live for this crap. Harper looked at them, her expression serious. I need to go. If someone knows where I live, this isn't just a joke. If I can figure out who's behind it, maybe I can stop whatever this is. Owen shook his head. You realize how insane this sounds, right? Yeah. But you're coming with me, Harper replied, and Owen groaned in resignation. Fine, Jesse muttered. But if I get killed by some cult, I'm haunting you forever. They piled into Jesse's beat-up sedan, the headlights cutting through the darkness as they drove toward the Ashwood Creek turnoff. The road was old and cracked, lined by thick, looming trees. No one had been here in years, not since the town was swallowed by mystery and fear. As they approached the edge of town, the streetlights flickered on, one by one, as if sensing their arrival. Harper's heart thudded in her chest. That shouldn't be happening, she whispered. Great, Owen muttered. We're already off to a bad start. Jesse grinned nervously. Maybe it's the ghost welcoming committee. Kayla, perched in the back seat with her feet on the dashboard, laughed. Or maybe it's a trap. Either way, I'm in. They passed the rusted, Welcome to Ashwood Creek, sign, which leaned dangerously to one side. Below it, someone had scrawled a chilling message, We never left. No one said a word. Harper tightened her grip on her phone, feeling like they were being watched. The road ended abruptly in front of the Ashwood Public Library, a crumbling, 2-story building with broken windows and ivy crawling up the walls. The air felt heavier here, as if the town was waiting for them. We're here, Harper said quietly. Yeah, lucky us, Jesse muttered, killing the engine. The 4 friends climbed out of the car, their footsteps crunching on dead leaves. Ashwood Creek was eerily quiet. No wind, no animals, just the oppressive silence that seemed to swallow sound whole. "I don't like this," Owen whispered, glancing around. "We shouldn't be here." Harper felt it too, a strange, heavy presence pressing down on them. But it was too late to turn back. They had already crossed the threshold. The front door of the library creaked loudly as Harper pushed it open. Inside, it was worse than they expected: dusty shelves, collapsed beams, and a strange, musty smell that clung to their clothes. It felt like the air was thick with memories, the kind of memories that don't stay buried. "Why does it feel like something's off?" Owen whispered, his voice barely audible. "Because this place is alive," Kayla said with a grin. "Isn't it obvious? Haunted as hell." Harper shined her flashlight down one of the long aisles. "Come on. Let's find some clues and get out of here." They split up, searching the shelves and desks for anything that might explain the strange message. Jesse stayed close to Harper, muttering under his breath, "This is how people die in horror movies. You know that, right?" Harper gave him a dry look. "Would it kill you to be useful for once?" Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the second floor, making everyone jump. Owen swore under his breath. "What the hell was that?" Kayla grinned. "Guess we're not alone." Harper's heart raced. "We need to check it out." They climbed the rickety staircase to the upper floor, every step groaning beneath their weight. At the top, they found a hallway lined with old paintings, portraits of children, their eyes wide and lifeless. "These paintings are messed up," Jesse whispered, avoiding their gaze. As they reached the end of the hall, the air grew colder. A door at the far end swung open slowly, revealing a dark room beyond. "Hello," Harper called out, her voice shaking. There was no answer, only the faint sound of whispers, growing louder with every second. Kayla stepped inside first, grinning as usual. What's the worst that could happen? Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind her. "Kayla!" Harper screamed, pounding on the door. "Open it!" But from the other side, only silence answered. "Kayla!" Harper pounded on the door, panic rising in her chest. Jesse and Owen joined her, slamming their shoulders against it, but it wouldn't budge. It was as if the wood had fused with the frame, sealing them out, and Kayla in. "Kayla, say something!" Harper shouted, pressing her ear to the door. But the only response was silence, followed by a strange, rhythmic scratching sound from the other side, like nails dragged slowly along the walls. Owen's face was pale. This isn't right. We have to get her out." Jesse stepped back, breathing hard. "Screw this. We need to leave and get help, now." "No way." Harper snapped, glaring at him. "I'm not leaving her in there." But before they could try the door again, the hallway lights flickered, and in the brief moments of light, Harper saw something she would never forget. One of the children from the portrait stood at the far end of the hall, watching them with black, empty eyes. "Jesse," Harper whispered, her breath catching in her throat. "Look." Jesse turned, and froze in place. The figure wasn't a painting anymore. It was real, standing perfectly still, with an eerie smile spreading slowly across its pale face. "What the hell?" Owen muttered, backing away slowly. "That's not human." The lights flickered again, and when they came back on, the child was closer. Harper's heart thundered. "We need to move. Now." They bolted down the stairs, the shadows closing in behind them. The portraits along the walls seemed to turn their heads as they ran, their cold eyes following their every move. "Where's the damn exit?" Jesse shouted, his voice echoing in the empty halls. There. Harper pointed, spotting the front door, but just as they reached it, it slammed shut on its own, sealing them inside. Jesse yanked on the handle with all his strength, but it wouldn't budge. "Are you kidding me? We're trapped," Owen whispered, his back pressed against the wall. Harper grabbed his arm. "No. We need to stay calm and think. There has to be another way out." Just then, they heard it, a distant laugh, soft and unnatural, echoing through the building. It was coming from the upper floor, where they had lost Kayla. Owen looked at Harper, his hands shaking. "We need to go back for her." "You're joking, right?" Jesse snapped, eyes wide. "You saw that thing. Whatever's up there, it's not Kayla anymore." Harper clenched her jaw, ignoring the fear clawing at her insides. "I'm not leaving without her." She grabbed her flashlight, took a breath, and started back up the stairs. "Harper, wait!" Owen called, but she was already gone, disappearing into the dark. Harper reached the second floor, her flashlight flickering as she moved toward the room where Kayla had disappeared. The door was still sealed tight. The whispers were louder now, pressing against her skull, pulling her deeper into the darkness. "Kayla!" Harper called, her voice breaking. She leaned in close to the door, and just barely, she thought she heard her friend whisper from the other side, "Harper! Don't open it." Her heart dropped. "Kayla, what do you mean?" "I'm getting you out." But then, another voice, deeper, darker, whispered from within the room. "She belongs to us now." The sound sent chills down Harper's spine. Her hand shook as she backed away from the door. Suddenly, the lights went out, plunging everything into darkness. "Guys," Harper whispered, but there was no response, just the heavy silence of the house pressing in on her. And then, from the far end of the hall, she saw it, a figure stepping out of the shadows. It was Kayla, or at least, it looked like her. But her face was wrong. Her eyes were too wide, her smile too sharp, and her head tilted at an unnatural angle. "Harper," the thing that looked like Kayla whispered, mimicking her friend's voice perfectly. "Come with me." Harper's legs refused to move, frozen in place by terror. "Kayla." The thing smiled wider. "We can be together forever." Suddenly, Jesse and Owen burst up the stairs, their flashlights bouncing wildly. "Harper, we have to go," Jesse yelled, grabbing her arm. "Now." But the thing wearing Kayla's face stepped closer, its grin stretching too far for a human mouth. "You're not leaving," it whispered. "No one leaves Ashwood Creek." Owen aimed his flashlight at the thing, and for a moment, it recoiled, its smile twisting into a snarl. Harper took the chance, she grabbed Jesse and Owen and ran. They sprinted through the hall, down the stairs, and into the lobby, where the shadows swirled like a living storm. The front door was open now, but not for long. "Go, go!" Harper screamed. They dashed toward the door just as it began to close. Owen threw his shoulder against it, forcing it open long enough for all three of them to tumble outside. The moment they crossed the threshold, the world shifted, the oppressive weight lifted, and the whispers stopped. They stood in the cold night air, gasping for breath. The streetlights were off now, and the town behind them was silent once more. They looked back at the Ashwood Public Library, and saw the door slowly close. Through the cracked window, they saw Kayla standing inside, watching them with that same eerie smile, her eyes empty and cold. Jesse's voice trembled. "She's still in there." Harper clenched her fists, tears welling in her eyes. "That wasn't her," she whispered. "Not anymore." Owen shook his head, stepping back toward the car. we need to leave. Now. As they piled into the sedan, Harper glanced one last time at the library. Just before Jessie hit the gas, she saw a shadow move behind the glass, a figure waving slowly at them as they drove away. The whispers returned, soft and distant, carried on the wind as they sped out of town. "You'll be back." Harper closed her eyes, knowing the truth deep in her bones. Ashwood Creek wouldn't let them go for long,